Have you ever found yourself getting locked into some kind of negative thought loop? Maybe something's happened to you that you haven't been too pleased about, and then you run it over and over inside your mind, almost like you're torturing yourself, like you've seen a bad movie and you then go back and see it time and time again. Or maybe you worry about the future and it just seems to loop round and round inside your mind and it's very difficult to move beyond. Well, how do you actually resolve this? How do you deal with it? Well, that's what we're going to be exploring in this video. Hi, I'm Stephen Burns from Solutions in Mind, and in this video I'd like to share with you a technique called the negative thought fast. Now I know that sounds a little bit weird, but honestly all will be revealed in this video. So first of all, I'd just like to say that if you are locked into some kind of severely restrictive negative thought loop, if it is affecting, a lot of your experience of life, then I would recommend that you seek help from a professional therapist, and they can help you explore the limiting beliefs behind those negative thoughts. However, I would recommend that this little technique can give you a quick win. It's no substitute for therapy, but it can be really powerful and really useful just to help you move beyond these negative thought loops. So, what does this consist of? Well, it consists of 5 major steps. First of all, you want to have awareness. Often when we are feeling bad, when we're caught in some kind of negative loop, usually it's happening outside of our conscious awareness. So you want to bring this into your awareness a little bit more and just pay attention to what's actually going on inside your subjective experience. Now, the usual suspects are there's often a kind of internal dialogue. It's just you, by the way, it's just you speaking without saying it out loud. But usually they'll also accompanied with, negative, movies, past memories, or maybe even people will project into the future and imagine their future being catastrophic or something bad happening in it. So you want to just be aware of this, just pay attention to it. Then you want to move on to step 2, and that's where you do a brain dump. Now, a brain dump is where you take all of those thoughts, those feelings, those images and movies that are playing through inside your mind, and then you put them down on a piece of paper. For some reason, just externalizing all of your internal processes can really make a big difference. Often it's because they are just mixed together in this myriad, this psychological soup. It's quite difficult to know what's going on, and we're just responding to all of this crap. So when we actually take it and we externalize it, put it onto a piece of paper, then we can kind of look at it and go, oh, that's interesting. And it's almost like we remove ourselves a little bit from the process of what's actually happening. Usually doesn't resolve it completely, but it does give us some kind of objectivity. And again, when you're doing your brain dump, you want to be writing down what you're actually experiencing, not your theory about what's going on. So you don't want to write down, well, I think this all started with the relationship I had with my mother, or maybe it was my father or my grand. That's a theory. That's for a much more Freudian analytical session. You only want to be aware of what you're responding to and then externalize it, write it down. Then you want to move on to step 3, and this is where you explore the learning. You want to look at your brain dump, look at what's going on, and then you want to ask yourself, what is there to learn here? What important learnings could I get from this experience? You could even ask yourself, what's great about this? Usually when you ask yourself that question, you straight away say absolutely nothing, it's horrendous. But if you keep asking over and over again, eventually you get something that's quite positive, that can be quite meaningful. But ultimately you're looking to get some kind of learning that you can take from this experience to make yourself better in the future, to make yourself a more rounded individual, to make yourself, someone who has learned from your experience and genuinely developed. So just find something. That's usually the place where we start to get a little bit of a relief from this negative thought, when we do genuinely appreciate that there's something good to be taken from it. Then you would want to move on to the next step, and that's where you play about with your inner perceptions. So you want to look at your brain dump, look at everything that you've created so far, and you want to do this with your eyes closed or your eyes open, and just bring forth the images, the movies that you were experiencing when you were having this bad experience, this negative thought loop. Maybe it's past memories, or perhaps it's something you're thinking about in the future. Maybe there's some internal dialogue. Possibly there's all of the above. But then you want to play about with these inner perceptions. And this can really help you change the way that you feel about them, change your relationship. So first of all, you want to take the movies, maybe past memories or future projections, and you want to just think about them and notice how you're thinking about them. And then you want to start to push them off into the distance. What would it be like if they were to get darker, smaller, and further away? And if you were to push them way off into the distance, so that they're far, far away, so that you've got distance from them, when you look on from this perspective, how does it change the way that you feel about them? Usually people get this big relief, they go, oh, because often when we think about something, if it's really close and big and bright and full of movement, then that's usually when it impacts our feelings, our neurology. But when it's far away, distant and black and white, all of a sudden we can breathe a sigh of relief because we have some distance from them. Then you can play about with the internal dialogue. If you're speaking to yourself in a harsh tone of voice, suddenly start to turn the volume down. What would it be like if you were to whisper that to yourself? Or what would it be like if you were to say those words in a really sexy tone of voice? That's my best sexy tone of voice. It's not particularly great, I know. But just play about with it until you change the feelings that are attached to this internal experience. And then, once you're finished, just breathe a sigh of relief and say to yourself, ah, thank God, I don't have to think about that anymore. And then notice how that affects your experience. So then you move on to the last step, and that's where you bring in a positive image. You played about with the old images, you want to bring in something positive. And this is when you bring back your learning, the thing that could potentially be used to help you develop from this experience. So once you've pushed the old image off into the distance, you want to bring back a second image. And in this image, you want to see yourself in the future being different as a result of the negative experience. And you want to add in the learning here. So if the learning was that you could be more flexible in the way that you communicate, or maybe the learning was that you can relate to people better. I don't know, it really depends on the situation that you've been experiencing. But add in the learning to this new positive image. And just spend some time just seeing yourself just being a little bit different. Maybe you feel different. Maybe you're a more relaxed person. Maybe you're the kind of person who can interact with other people better. I don't know. Whatever that is, you're free to add in your own creative expression in a way that's unique to your own situations. And that's pretty much it. So you want to have awareness, then you want to do a brain dump, then you want to explore the learning, play about with the negative thoughts until you change the feelings, and then bring back something positive that makes use of the learning. Really powerful 5-step process for dealing with negative thought loops. Like I said, if it's anything, big, if it's something that really is troubling you, then I do recommend that you seek the help of a professional therapist. So thanks for watching. If you want to check out some of our more comprehensive programs, then please join the school. Also, if you want to subscribe to the channel, just so that I can keep you up to date with future videos, future content. So hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you later on.